know a lot of you are going to look at me and see a gym rat. So you're assuming that I am talking about training in the weight room. And certainly there is delayed gratification in the weight room, which is one of the reasons why I absolutely love it. However, a more recent example of this is with my dog, Maverick. So he is a cattle dog, Australian Shepherd mix, and is extremely high energy. There have been times where I think he has some coyote in him. He is very mouthy. Everything when I first got him was biting. It was a little alligator, as they say. And I obsessively watched dog videos and training videos. And I came to the point where I found a particular YouTuber. His name is I believe it's David Beckman, or it's Beckman's Training, or no, Joel Beckman, Beckman's Training. And he is on YouTube. If anybody has a dog with a family, I highly recommend him. Anyway, it took me a long time to find him. It took me some research because, of course, you start with the Cesar Millan videos. You start with what's familiar. And I grew up with German Shepherds, and I had some working line German Shepherds. And so I knew some of the strategies for training and the commands and some of the ideas around training. However, I'd never had a puppy with a child before, so there were some unique challenges there. So the long and the short of it is that I've worked every single day with this dog to teach him how to be a family dog and give him the best opportunity to be a part of the family and be as fair as possible to my daughter and make sure she has a good experience with this animal and that this animal has a good and positive experience with the family, and building this relationship with this dog and making sure I'm consistent and fair with the dog while also being the boss, because you have to be the boss with a dog like this. If any of you have a larger breed, if any of you have ever had a bully breed or a breed that has some stubbornness in them, they are a very smart breed. You have to exercise them and you have to train them and you have to be dedicated. And that's what I've done since I've gotten this dog. I got him when he was 2 months old. He's turning a year at the end of this month. His birthday is like around the same day as mine. So I just call it his birthday is in March, the end of March. So the other day I went to a park, a very busy park with ducks and geese and kids running around and a ball and dogs. And we had a peaceful loose leash walk at 1 year old. And there was a time where I thought that that would not happen. Now, granted, it's still different when the kid is around. The kid brings a whole other energy, especially if she's got her bike or scooter. The dog's threshold, he builds a lot easier in those moments. He's still a young dog. It's better, right? We're working on progress, not perfection. And my point of the story is I put the dog in the car after a nice calm walk, and he jumps in his kennel, just like I asked. He gets in the car, and we just had a nice 30-minute walk together in the morning. And I said, I am so freaking proud of myself. Holy shit, I did that. I trained the dog how to get in the kennel. The dog wouldn't get in the kennel when I first got him. It sounded like there were 12 different animals in there. Train the dog how to do loose leash walking. For the most part, he understands what I am expecting of him on the leash. I expect him not to pull, and I expect him to pay some attention to me. And I was just so grateful in that moment. And I still feel so much gratitude, and I'm so proud of him, and I'm proud of myself for sticking with him and not throwing in the towel and keeping diligent on educating myself on how to train this dog, right? Coming from, I'm not a dog trainer. And I look at the delayed gratification that I have from my muscles as I look at them like a tattoo. It shows my hard work over a long period of time. It took me a while to embrace my musculature as a female. Though I've been blamed for taking steroids. I have been made fun of as a young woman. When I was younger, I've always been prone to having more muscle than not. It's just my body type. And in the 90s, that was not popular. It is more popular today, thank God. But back then it was the very skinny Victoria's Secret, rail thin, 6 foot tall females. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I find that to be a beautiful body type. However, I appreciate my body type now. and I have learned to accept my body type for what it is. And I never have felt more at peace with my body and where I am today because of the acceptance. Now, I'm not telling you all of this to brag. I am telling you this as an example as to what has worked for me is coming into a place of acceptance. In order to change something in your life, you have to accept yourself for who and what you are right now, everything about you. And look at, instead of comparing yourself to the magazines or comparing yourself to Sally or the neighbor or to me or to anybody else, you have to accept and love parts of yourself. Now, when you look in the mirror, you can't, it's hard, but you want to look at the areas of your body that you like about yourself. And one of the things that we tend to do is look in the mirror and point out all of the very bad things about ourselves, all the things we want to change. So instead of degrading ourselves and abusing ourselves, because that's what you're doing, you're being like an abusive person, an abusive spouse, an abusive partner, an abusive relationship in your own mind to yourself. That is not a very successful way of moving forward and improving your life in any meaningful way, right? And not to say that you do this in every single area of your life, but be mindful and give yourself grace. So I value people that walk the walk and not just talk the talk. I have been in a lot of sales trainings, and there is a lot of bullshit out there. There's a lot of neurolinguistic programming crap and all these techniques that sales people want to use on other people in order to persuade them to their side. And I am one of those that I want to show. I want to be an example. I want to be honest, and I want to move forward with you in this lecture so that you know that I'm not just here selling you a line of bullshit. This is authentically me. This is authentically my story. And I hope that, however you found me, that you see that I work my ass off. I work very hard and I enjoy doing it. And I enjoy helping other people and giving as much information as I can that I think will be relevant to you as to where you are now to help you move forward. So all of the material I go over is not fluff. I've looked at a couple of my lectures and they're like 2 hours long. I may go back and do some editing to narrow it down, but there's a lot of information in there where I speak to certain topics and there's a reason for that in the specific order that I've put them in. So it is very intentional, even though it seems perhaps that I'm scattered and I probably could use some organization. However, just know that all of my intentions are to help you and to show you that I am being as upright and honest as I can in order to help you as quickly as possible. Okay, so, and the other idea is once you've reached a goal, you can just stop, right? So once you've earned the $100,000 a year, do you just stop? Do you stop going to work? No, you have to keep going and you have to set a new goal. And same with the gym. So I know my brother was joking, but at one point he goes, you can stop, right? I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, you're fit, you reached your goal, you can stop now. And I think there's some stand-up comedians that have some bits about that. But if you stop, you lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it. Same goes with learning. Same goes with change. Same goes with initiative. Same goes with building muscle. Same goes with dieting. It sounds exhausting, but you can regress once you stop. Now, once you've gained the knowledge and once you've done it, it is easier to get back on the bandwagon. And once you have muscle memory, so once your muscles have gotten to a certain level, I'm sure you've seen it with ex-athletes. So let's say there's a football player that learned how to put 40 pounds on his frame through high school and college. He stops working out for 5 years, goes back to the gym and gains that 40 pounds back a lot faster than he would have otherwise. So there is some of that going on as well. But just keep in mind, it is a lifelong practice. All this stuff is a lifelong practice.